Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel and say hello to the birdie here. Hi, guys. Good morning. It's 7 in the morning and I plan to transplant the bok choy, the baby choy. But we have a visitor. Good morning, bird. Okay, so I'm going out to transplant the bok choy. And if you notice, there are strings here. I made a guide for the square foot garden. I'm not gonna be following it exactly to the science of it, but that's just a rough guide on how I will plant or space out the plants that I will put there. So let's go outside. It's a nice day out today. It's 14 degrees Celsius. And we're going to maybe the bunching onions and the baby choy will transplant. The beans and the tomatoes will give it a bit more time. This cilantro is also good for planting, I think. Okay, let's start. Good morning. So we're gonna transplant the bok choy here in this area. So this is our baby choy, and we're gonna transplant them now. I lost my other tool, so I'm using this plastic one. Of all the days, today is the day that I can't find them, so let's make do with what we have. So here I'm just loosening up the soil so we can easily remove it from the container. And in this square foot gardening method, supposedly the idea is per square foot, depending on the plant, you can plant either 4, 6, or 9, depending on how small the plant is. We loosen the roots and look at that. So I'm trying to be gentle here, making sure that we don't disturb so much of the roots or we don't cut them out, because I've sown them a bit thick, so there's a lot of plants. I'm choosing the bigger plants, the nicer growing plants, healthier plants, and that's the plants that I wanted to transplant in the garden bed, so we have a good start. So it's very important here that we're being very careful in doing this and in choosing the right plant, or choosing the right seedling, I mean. So back to the square foot gardening. So for this baby choy, if you want them to grow really big, you can plant just 2. If you want them to be young and tender, you can plant as many as 9 or 6 or 9. But I thought for this 4. I'll try 4 and let's see how it will grow. If this is a good way to space them. For now, let's do 4 plants per square foot. Then we'll do 4 squares. I chose the bigger plants, and let's see. Ideally, we should do succession planting, like maybe 1 square per week or every 2 weeks, so we get continuous crops all season and we don't have to harvest them all together. But let's try this first because I sowed a lot of seeds. Let's see. So here I'm not so used to planting with gloves on, but it was so cold, so I had to use the gloves. I think it's better to use your bare hands so you can feel the seedlings and feel the soil better, but um, or maybe I'll get used to it. So this is how I planted them. So let's just lightly plant the root. So back to the square foot gardening, I'm positioning the shorter crops or plants to be in this area where the baby choy are so that they will not shade the plants at the back. So at the back we plan to put the eggplant, the tomatoes, the basil, the cilantro. So this bok choy is for our sinigang, and maybe some stir fry. And hopefully we eat more vegetables because of this. The hope is that we will eat more vegetables since we don't have to go to H Mart anymore to buy them. So the idea of this whole garden is to have the vegetables that we usually eat and usually cook be readily available here at at home. So let's see if that will work. So I'm pressing on the soil because underneath this soil are twigs and leaves. So there's a chance that it hasn't settled properly yet. So I'm trying to make sure that the soil in which I plant these seedlings are a bit compact. So just a reminder that I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to do these things. Although I went to an agricultural school for high school and we had our own garden. So in terms of basics and the logic of it, I have them. But most of these things are trial and error, and we'll just use our common sense. And then if there's something, and if we encounter something, then we research. The internet is there. You can ask people we know, and that's it. It's so easy to search on Google, but it's also nicer to ask people. Then that give us a chance to connect to other people, right? If you ask Google, then you have your answer, then that's it. But if you ask someone, then you build a connection. So don't just tell anyone. If somebody asks you something and you say, just Google it, maybe that person is reaching out and wants to have a connection. Maybe that person thought of you about that thing. Maybe they remembered about that thing, or you're familiar with it, or you might be familiar with it, or simply they just want a reason to talk to you. So grab that opportunity to connect to people. Okay? I think for now that's it. This is our transplanted baby choy. I'll water them again. And let's see what will happen. So now I'm transplanting the cilantro seedlings, and I place this. This should be beside the eggplant and the basil. I'm pulling them out. So here I'm massaging the soil to loosen them up. You can also opt to soak this in water so that it's easier to separate them. I hope you can see that root system. They are so leggy though, so let's plant them in bunches. So cilantro is a good companion plant for eggplant and basil, and then basil is also good uh, beside tomatoes. So we're planting them in a single row. Cilantro, I use this mainly for salads. So I think one cubic square is enough for it. So if you notice, I keep on pressing on the soil just to make sure it's compact and that the roots can grow properly. And then it's important to water them again too. So that's it. This is our cilantro. I just, I don't know if you know this, I didn't really plant them carefully. So, but I feel like they are resilient. They should be able to handle a little rough handling. So let's see in a few weeks what will happen. So far this is our garden: cilantro and baby choy, eggplant here, basil here, tomato here, carrots there, and then we still have the bunching onion. And let's see what's gonna happen next. Thank you for watching, and come back again to see the progress of this garden. Let me show you our automatic water system. This is our watering schedule here because we have a new plant, a new transplant. We're watering it every day for, let's see, the setting is we're watering it every day for 15 minutes at 6 a.m. and to ensure we're saving water, we water every 5 minutes and then pause for 1 minute to let the water go, be absorbed by the soil first, and then it waters again. So as it's getting hotter, we'll check it if it's sufficient or if we need to add more. And then after 2 weeks, we lessen the frequency, maybe every 2 to 3 days. But for now, we'll do manual. Do the manual. Let's water the plant. We water to make sure that there's no gaps in the roots. If the leaves will fall, it's okay. When it gets dry and it's under the sun, it will rise to the south direction. So thank you again for watching. Come back for our update on how these plants will grow, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. See you in our next video.